Hey everyone, how's it going? Today we are going to be doing a Reptile product video. Basically talking about all the products I use, what I recommend, and a couple of highly regarded companies that I can't speak enough of. So let's get to it. I'll show you everything from lighting to what I use to measure humidity, temp guns, stuff like that. Let's go. Real quick guys, if you haven't already, check that lower right hand corner, hit that subscribe button, and turn on the bell notification so you know when I post more updates. Okay, so the number one company I most highly regard in the reptile hobby so far is Arcadia. Now, if you're in the US, you might have not heard of Arcadia, or you might never have gotten their products. They're kind of harder to get. There's only a couple, companies in the US that import them, and you usually got to get them shipped, so they're not as frequent as some other lightings, and this is we're talking about like UVB stuff, so I'll show you in a sec. But if you haven't, Arcadia is a fantastic company. Not only are their UVB and UVA outputs and stuff like that more reliable than a lot of other companies, they are so helpful. I've had in-depth conversations on Facebook with the company, just asking like, what do you think about this for a Russian Tortoise? What do you think about this for an Ackie Monitor? What do you think about this for a Tegu? And they will talk everything through, stuff that a company normally wouldn't have to do, but they do it. They truly care. So I can't speak enough about Arcadia. So in my Ackie Monitor enclosures, I have two Arcadia UVB bulbs. One is the 14% and the other is a 6%. I believe the 6% is in front and the 14% is back. So that's good, and I have a little perch for this is Dell's enclosure. It doesn't get within, I think it's 15 inches, maybe a couple inches less, which is recommended. So that's the same for Asus's enclosure. For Max's enclosure, my bearded dragon, she has the 14% bulb that runs across, and that's it. For Tortellini's enclosure, my Russian Tortoise, I think he has a 6% bulb running across the back there. And then in my Tegu's enclosure, Frappuccino, he's chilling right there, he's still grumpy. I have two of the 14% bulbs. I have one there and one on the other side there, which I really need because there's a lot of distance from him to the bulb. I also have a Megaray there for UVB as like a basking area. I do think I have the 160 watt in there right now, but I do think I want to drop that to the 100 watt because of, I read an article saying that, I think it's a little too close in distance. I'll put the article down below a little bit. As for the actual heating, I just get some regular G halogen bulbs from Lowe's, which is around the corner from me. Probably Walmart, Home Depot, other companies or businesses like that will have them. Pretty common, but I use 3 different wattages for, well, right now mostly I use the 60 watt, the 75 watt replacement. I use that in my Accie's enclosures. For instance, there's Dell's 2 right there. Sometimes I'll jump up to the 90 with them in the winter, but usually not. I use this currently in Frappuccino, my Tegu's enclosure, but that's going to be upgraded to the 90 watt very soon since he's grown in size. In Max, my bearded dragon's enclosure, and my Russian Tortoise, I believe I use this. Maybe I might be using the 60 watt in Max's enclosure, but I think I am using the 38 watt here. But I definitely am using this one in my Russian Tortoise enclosure. So these are just regular halogen floodlights. You want to make sure it's not a spotlight since that's a little too concentrated. I like using the long necks if you can get those. This is a long neck version, basically just how long this part is. It just gives me a little more of a drop somewhat closer. I don't really think it matters if you can control sort of the wiring, how far it drops down or whatever, but I usually get the long necks. For the heating for my Dubia Roaches, I use ceramic heat emitters. Just any ceramic heat emitter will do. I use roughly the 100 watt. A little bit less would be fine, maybe like a 75 watt. Better yet, if you don't put them on carpet, I would probably use a heating pad, especially because you can slap that on near the bottom, and that's where you like to chill out anyway. But I use ceramic heat emitters. As for feeding, most of my guys eat Dubia Roaches from my colony or some greens that I just get locally. But I do have a couple products for feeding. One is the Pangea Gecko diet for my Crested Gecko. I give that to him every day. And another is Mazuri Tortoise diet, which my Tortoise loves. I might be switching over to the Mazuri version of this to give it a shot, but right now I'm sticking with the Pangea Gecko diet. As for Dubia Roaches, I have ordered some from time to time, mostly when I first started getting into the hobby. The number one place I'd recommend is abdragons.com. The only issue with them is that sometimes they don't have what you need in stock or enough of what you need in stock. So if they're not in stock or I have a problem with how many I would get from them, I usually go to like dubiaroaches.com or something like that. But I definitely think if you're wanting to save, look for someone who isn't sort of a big website for selling Dubia Roaches, someone on like a Facebook page or something, and usually you could get a lot more bang for your buck. All of my lights are on timers. I use this app and the product called Wemo. I believe that's how you pronounce it. There are a couple bugs from time to time, but nothing really too intense that it really disrupts it. Sometimes it might just not pick up one up and you might have to just reload it. But I don't really know of any better. But it's really nice to have all of them on a timer. You can set rules like turn on at this time, turn off at this time. You can, as long as you have like Wi-Fi access or something, whatever, you can see, which are on. You can turn them off remotely. Basically good if you also want to go on vacation and stuff. So I definitely recommend getting some type of timer. These aren't probably the best in terms of, how well they're done, but I don't really know too many that are better. So I don't think these are any too problematic where I couldn't ever rely on them. They're very reliable. I've had them for a long time. So just a couple minor bugs. Speaking of going away or not being home, I did get a Nest fire alarm. Just so like when I'm not away, I can look at my phone and see if there's anything wrong. I do have a bunch of wooden enclosures in my reptile room. So I'm not too keen on, something happening while I'm gone, light giving out or blowing, I don't know. So I have this smart home sort of fire alarm I put in here so I can access it from anywhere and know if there's something going on. So I definitely recommend this product. It works very well. Another company that I've come to respect a lot, I've only worked with him once, but I've been following a lot of his products and stuff, is Country Scales and Tails Enclosures in Mazuri. Now, he made me this hide basking spot, really well done. I've been loving it. You can see Frappuccino loves it. My Tegu right there, look at him, he's so cute. Yeah, he does great work. He does it for a good price. He doesn't try to rip you off. When I tried to get someone to design some reptile furniture like this, they would always hike up the price to something ridiculous. He got me this enclosure shipped freight for way cheaper than any other company, especially some that were only like a half hour away from me that I could pick up. So yes, I got him yawning on camera. Awesome. I've been trying to get him to do that for a while. Not the best shot, but I'm happy about that. Anyway, he just really works well with you. He communicates well. He's very, I would say, passionate about what he does. So I definitely recommend checking him out. So check the description for a link to his Facebook page. Now, most of my enclosures include a Thermapro. Basically, this reads the temperature and humidity in the area. These have an indoor-outdoor option. What I didn't like is that the outdoor option doesn't actually take in humidity. It just like collects the temperature. So I had to actually place a unit in there, which is fine. It works really well though. I also have an Accurite in my Bearded Dragon enclosure. That works fine, but I definitely still like the Thermapro better. So I would say right now, I would definitely go with the Thermapro. I definitely highly recommend it. I have no problems with it, besides it not picking up the humidity outdoors, but I don't think it's really intended, for reptile enclosures, but I'm happy with it, and it's reasonably priced. As for substrate, I use the Harvest Organics Natural and Organic Garden Soil for my Ackie enclosures. This ran a little expensive. It's about like $8 or $9 a bag. For my Tegu enclosure, which required a little bit more, I used the Scott's Organic that only runs like $2-3 a bag. I do think this one has a little bit more than Scott's, but I don't know, maybe either equals out or Scott's is a little cheaper. Both of them have worked well for me so far. I've seen some bad things from Scott's, the soil that I got from other people, but for me, I got a good batch. Just sometimes in there, you'll find some things you don't want, like maybe some like shredded newspaper, just like, I don't know, anything that might have been with the dirt. For play sand, I just get the regular play sand. This is pretty much the typical stuff they have at like Lowe's or whatever, so that works fine. I use that for all my enclosures that have sand in their substrate. The last product I have is my Temp Gun. It's by Nubay, I think that's how you pronounce it, or Newbie, I don't know. But it works really well. This is the only one I ever use though. But I like it. It works well, it reads well. I never had a problem with it. Everybody should have a Temp Gun, so I definitely recommend it. And I'll put this in the description. Alright guys, so I just wanted to do a little video on my products as I'm wrapping up my semester. Basically just talk about some products I revere and just everything I have, so you know what I'm using, you know what I got going on, and I see plenty of questions on like Facebook about what substrate to use and stuff like that, so maybe this will be a little bit of help. If not, you know, feel free to ask some more questions in the comments. Definitely subscribe and stay tuned for some more content. Thanks.